Hello, it's Paul Hill from InstructorPaul.com, and in this lecture, I'm going to be showing you how to reset passwords with Active Directory users and computers. Now, this is going to be a short lecture. It's really not that complicated, but I need to show this to you guys. You have to know how to do this because if you go to a job interview and it has anything to do with Active Directory or sysadmin or any kind of help desk IT work, if they ask you how to reset a user password and you can't explain it to them or you don't know, you're probably not going to get the job. So this is one of those things that everybody has to know how to do, okay? And thankfully, it's so simple, very, very simple. So a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to have someone come up to your desk or someone's going to give you a phone call or you'll get an email or a ticket will be submitted to your ticketing system and someone's going to say that they forgot their password. A lot of times they try to blame the system saying it won't remember their password or something's just not right with the computer. They come up with all kinds of excuses, but you and I both know they just forgot their password or they're typing it in wrong. So what we need to do is go ahead and reset it for them. Now, once you get their first and last name, you're going to hit the find button and we're going to run a search through Active Directory just like we normally do. So if Paul Hill calls in, he says, I forgot my password, your domain's terrible, it can't remember passwords. You'll say, okay, sir, I'm sorry to hear that. Type in the first and last name. We're going to hit find now. If you're not finding the user account, you might want to search the entire directory or verify the spelling of their name. Once you have their account and you verified it's their account, because you don't want to do this on the wrong account. That's a big, big no-no. You'll get yourself in a lot of trouble doing that. What you want to do is right-click and choose Properties, and you'll want to ask them for their login name. Now, this is not a required step, but it's a good step, I think, to just practice basic security. You don't want to read it back to them. You want to say, what login name do they use? Because there might be more than one Paul Hill. I've seen Paul.Hill.2 or Paul.Hill3. So just because you see Paul Hill here doesn't mean it's the correct account. So it's a good idea to have them tell you what their username is that they use to log in, and you can just verify that information here. Once you have that and you're sure it's the right user account, you want to right-click and choose Reset Password. Okay, so now this works just like when you create a new user's account. What you're going to do is type in some kind of password that's easy for you to communicate back to them. It's not a bad idea to open like Notepad. See if I can get it here. This computer's going a little slow. Okay, so if I open Notepad, I can just make up a password real quick, something like this. That would be kind of complicated, but you'd probably just want to do like PASSWRD, so password 12. You'd want to copy that and just paste it in there. That way you're not typing in anything wrong. And then you'll want to communicate, either email this password back to them or just read it to them over the phone, whatever the case may be. Now, if they're standing right at your desk, you don't have to type in a temporary password like that. You can just have them set their password here. If that's in line with your work policy, you might want to double check that with your manager. But once you do that, if it's a temporary password, you want to check this checkbox, making them change their password at the next logon. If it's not a temporary password, if they're beside you at the desk and they're typing in the password themselves, you can uncheck this checkbox. Okay, since I'm creating a temporary password, I'm going to check this checkbox. And here we can see that the account lockout status on this domain controller is unlocked. What this means is, within Active Directory and group policy, you can specify the amount of times that a user can fail to log in before their account is locked. Now, if this account is locked out, it'll just say locked right here, and you'll need to check this checkbox. Otherwise, they won't be able to access their account. Since this account is already unlocked, we don't need to worry about that, okay? So now we're just going to click OK. And it says the password for Paul Hill has been changed. So you'll send that password back to them however you're going to get it to them, whether it's a ticketing system, whether you're reading it to them or over the phone, or if they're just setting it here at your desk. All right, so real quick, every once in a while, you will have someone who will just lock out their account, but they'll say that they remember their password and they don't need a password reset. They just need it to be unlocked. And if you remember, if we hit reset password, we can unlock the account by checking this checkbox. But this method also requires you to reset the password. Now, if their account is locked out and they don't want a password change, what you can do is right-click on the user account and choose Properties. Next, if you go to the Account tab, you can select Unlock Account. If the account is locked out, you'll see a message right after this unlocked account text. It'll say that this account is currently locked out. So if you check that checkbox and just click Apply and OK, you will be able to unlock their user account without resetting their password. Now, that's important for you to know. So now what I want to do is I want to show you what it's going to look like when they try to log in to their account. Okay, so I'm on my little workstation here. I'm going to type in the password that I created within Active Directory. See if I can get this spelt right. 1, 2, press enter. And now it says a user's password must be changed before signing in. So I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now I'm going to create the new password. Type that in now. I'm pressing tab to shift through these text boxes. And I'm going to press enter. And it says it's changing the password. And it says your password has been changed. So now I'm going to click OK. And now I'm brought to the desktop. Now this VM here only wants to run at 800 by 600. So sorry about the resolution. But that is how you reset a user password in Active Directory users and computers. I hope you found this lecture useful. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.